Hi, welcome to Inside the District. My name is Matt Mazzoni, Superintendent of Schools here in Millville, and we are featuring our Lakeside Middle School. So I know last month you learned all about Principal Sutton and all the great things happening at the high school, but this month we're moving on to the middle school, and then we'll continue with all of our elementaries. And with the middle school, we have a special guest joining us. We have Dr. Lisa Niemi. So welcome to the show, Dr. Niemi.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. So Dr. Niemi, you've just started in Millville.
I have.
So what was your first date?
I started on Monday, September 29th.
September 29th.
So we're talking pretty less than 2 months.
Right. And, you were board approved in August, and I believe I probably called you or texted you every day, like, when are you being released?
At least once a day.
Yeah, so when we were chomping at the bit to get Lisa in the role of principal, and she's finally here and doing a great job. We're going to unpack a little bit about you, learn about you as a leader. I may ask some questions personal too, share, I know that your personal story as well. So let's get to it. So Lisa, from a professional standpoint, take me through your experiences. Where'd you go to college?
I finished with my bachelor's in actually marketing at Stockton. Yeah. I think it was Stockton State College at the time. It wasn't a traditional route. But my first teaching gig was out in Fairfield Township right next door as a sixth grade classroom teacher. That's where I started and spent 19 years in the classroom there.
Right.
I taught sixth grade, and then I went on to seventh and eighth grade science solely when we departmentalized. While I was at Fairfield, I finished a master's degree in teaching and learning, and then I also from Nova Southeastern, and then I finished a master's degree from Wilmington University in educational leadership and my doctorate as well in educational leadership, all while I was out there.
All at Wilmington?
The last two were at Wilmington.
Yeah, that's great. So you had a doctorate from there. All right, so then you're at Fairfield, and you've been teaching for 20-some years. And what gave you the itch then to go into administration? You
know what? I think that, I know it's a tough job. Obviously, I'm here. But I think that part of the reasons you want to go from a classroom into an administrative role is because you see what's going on and you want to contribute more. So I could affect what was going on in my room with my 30, 60, 100 kids, whatever year I was teaching that year. But I wanted to have an opportunity to help the kids that weren't coming through my classroom and do more. So I wanted to reach out and kind of leave the classroom from that perspective.
And what was your first administrative job?
My first administrative job was as assistant principal in Fairfield. So I spent 19 years in the classroom there, and then I spent 1 year as their administrator. And I wanted to step out simply because I wanted to have an experience, before I retired, another decade of different districts. I wanted to see what else there was.
You learn a lot from that.
You do.
Yeah. So where'd you go?
Well, and that's what's interesting. So I went to Delsea Regional. I was their middle school vice principal there for 3.5 years before I came here. And it was very different. It was a very different perspective. It was really great. I got to do a lot of stuff with restorative cultures and a lot to do with student support services and be able to really start digging into the needs of the kids, not just the academic, but the whole child. And that's when I kind of decided I wanted to head back to Cumberland County because I really enjoyed the time at Fairfield. I enjoy Cumberland County. I think there's a lot of things that we can do here, and there's a lot of history within the county and with Millville specifically. I saw the opening and I jumped on it.
Yeah, and Dr. Niemi came to our back to school event early. That was early September, so you weren't even in the role as principal at that point, but you did show up, or that might have been even your first day there. And I remember parents were coming up to you and saying,
that was back to school night.
So they recognized you from Fairfield.
Yeah, because I had them as students.
Right.
Which was
and
a
now
little
you have
hard
their
to
children?
There's a handful of kids that I've interacted with that I had their parents when I was sixth grade or seventh and eighth grade. They came up to me because they want to know what their parents were like when they were in middle school. But their cousin had me or their aunt had me or whatever. So I already see a lot of connections between the two districts.
All right. And then let's stay with you as talking about parents. Let's hear from you as a parent. I know you're always talking about your son.
My son, who's not even a little kid anymore. So I have now, an adult son. Right. Unfortunately, he lives in North Carolina, but he's happy down there, so that's okay. Right. But he went through Ocean City high school system and then college, county, and he went to University of North Carolina in Wilmington. So he decided he was going to stay down there. He works as a chef. He's an avid runner, marathons and all that other stuff. And I'm really proud of everything he's done.
Beautiful. So when you head down to North Carolina, does he cook you some nice meals?
He really does, and it's like that's the best. Like that's the best thing. It might be a good thing for me that he doesn't live here,
right.
Because that would be a lot.
Beautiful. All right, so now let's shift to talking about what we say is what's on your desk lately. So take me through. So you started late September as principal. What are some of those things that you've been focusing on? I always say like your first 100 days. You're probably only in day 20 or so. 30.
Well, I think I'm about halfway through that 100 days.
Yeah.
I think that I spent a lot of time initially getting to know staff, getting to know students, reaching out to parents. Trying to get an understanding of not just obviously what's going on in the school, but how the kids feel about what's going on in school day to day. So a lot of stuff on my desk has to do with understanding the different roles that people have within the building, but also looking for those, not just teacher leaders, but student leaders also. Who wants to make the change? Where are they connected? What are some of the things that they're looking for in their education? And also how we can prep them for where they want to go when they leave us. And that's really a big thing for me, is what you do now lays the pathway for everything. So how can I be of service?
Wonderful. And I know just, in your short time here as a school leader, one of the things that you've implemented is with our early dismissal days with lunch. So talk a little bit about what you did there.
So we were going through the master schedule, and it was I didn't really notice on the half day until we started approaching that there was no lunch involved with the half day. I think there's a lot of challenges that parents are already dealing with the cost of living and all these other things going on. And I didn't realize that we didn't have a lunch program for early dismissal days. So it was very, the food service, our food service director is fantastic.
Yeah, Joe Rowland does a great job.
My director within my building, Tori, is fantastic. And I reached out to them. I'm like, can we adjust this? They jumped right on board. They're like, absolutely, let us know what time you want to feed them. So moving forward at Lakeside on early dismissal days, meals will be served. I want to make sure the kids not only get a healthy breakfast, but they have an opportunity to eat a healthy lunch before they go home, especially coming into, we have four early dismissal days starting on Friday, and then all next week is early dismissal. So the idea of kids going home and maybe not having an opportunity to grab something was a concern of mine. So we made sure we took care of that.
And then you're talking about those 4 days for early dismissal. Why 4 days for early dismissal? What do you have?
It seems like a lot. So we have parent conferences coming up.
Conferences.
So parents come out and have a conversation. Even if you're not looking to speak with the teachers, administration's also there. If you need to ask any questions, you can even give us a phone call. So we have early dismissal Friday for a 1:20 to 3:20 conference window. And then Monday and Tuesday we're out early so the teachers can take a break, get what they need to get together, and then we'll be back Monday and Tuesday night from 5 to 7 for night conferences as well. And Wednesday, of course, in preparation for Thanksgiving, we've got that as well.
Awesome. So let's move on, talk about some school updates. Why don't you share with us some of the things that are happening from the school update-wise?
So we've got a couple of really great programs going on that I was excited to get to be part of. We had a grant that I can't claim any credit for. It was here before I got here, but we have an esports program this year, which is absolutely fantastic. This is an opportunity for some of our kids. They're learning how to not just, somebody said, so they're playing video games. Well, they're learning how to write video games. They're learning how to do the art. They're learning how to do the graphic design. And when they go through this program that we're using, they take different paths and they're actually able to play the games that they're helping build. So they're learning the science of how games are designed, which is an incredible strategic, logistical. It adds a lot of different aspects of learning and kind of fires off some different areas of the brain, which are fantastic. And then they also get to, as they progress, because it's got a game component to it, they're actually able then to interact with each other, but on a national level, anonymously, but on a national level, they're actually able to compete with other school districts with the games that they're in the midst of learning how to design.
Yeah, and I believe, so there's 10 different paths with this new curriculum?
Yes. Yeah, there's 10 different ones: game design,
art, cybersecurity.
Yeah.
Right? I love that we have our middle school students now, we're exposing them to maybe a future in cybersecurity.
Sure, and we can also then connect it. We look at how we can connect it up to the CTE programs at the high school. So if kids are interested in certain aspects of these, if it's the graphic design, graphic arts program. If it's something about cybersecurity, then it's more about maybe web design, some computer writing, all those other things, but starting to get them to think about things that they want to spend their time doing. I mean, if you're going to pick a career, you want to do something that you're really going to enjoy. It's not about going to work, it's about making an impact.
Right.
So that cybersecurity piece is unfortunately a very real need that we have. And, this is an opportunity for them to really delve into it.
And you have Mr. Bertolino is teaching that right now?
Mr. Bertolino is teaching that course
so I was fortunate. I was able to take a tour, I think it was a week or so ago, with Mr. Barber and Mrs. Musey, our CTE supervisor. And I was quickly challenged to play Madden. So I didn't fare that well in Madden. So
Dr. Mazzoni, I grew up with Atari. That stuff is way past my skill set.
And you know what? Mr. Bertolino had to check, I would say, the students, and probably me too, because maybe there was a little trash talking. I was getting throwing interceptions and whatnot. The kids were relentless on me.
Absolutely.
But it was magnificent to see. So there were some learning paths going on with students learning behind the scenes of how to build their own video games.
And when they're playing them, they understand now why those interceptions, all those different aspects of the game look like what they do,
and
which
the other
I think
piece,
is intriguing.
And it wasn't 1-1, so I had a partner.
Yes, which is great.
Yeah, and so there had to be that communication piece.
Yes.
So esports is growing. I imagine at a significant pace. I would
love to see. Yeah, I would love to see
where it
some
grows
more
to
going
here
forward,
in Millville.
Yeah.
So wonderful. All right, thank you for that. And the next thing that we want to talk about is a program. You're going to learn more about this program because we have a special gentleman joining us. But tell me a little bit about the Boys with a Purpose.
This is one of those things that when I first came to Millville and I started reading, before I even got here and started reading about different pieces of what we had outside of academics, this one is something that really hit my heart. Because I think that one of the things that we're lacking, not because parents and guardians aren't trying to do all the things for their kids, but they're also working jobs. So Boys with a Purpose, the goal of that is to help male students grow into leaders, but also kids who can help other kids. So it's not just a fact of giving them the support, but also teaching them how to lead themselves and become strong members of their communities wherever they land as adults.
Right.
But they don't have to be adults to be able to make good decisions that are something to be followed. Mr. Rivera is a fantastic teacher, is our sports marketing teacher. He runs this program along with 3 other teachers that support him and acting as male mentors as well. They learn everything from etiquette, public speaking. They learn about conflict resolution, even time management, not just within the classroom, but like setting goals and managing their time so they can do the things that they want to do in their personal lives and in their school lives.
So far we talked about esports.
Right.
Mr. Rivera teaches sports marketing, and then we have Boys with a Purpose. This does not sound like school, right?
It doesn't sound like school.
This is so engaging. So we want to make sure the students are continuing to come to school and take full opportunities of everything we're offering. We want to have
opportunities that are going to engage kids and make them feel connected to their school as part of their community. It's not some place that they have to be, but some place that they want to be.
Love it. All right, let's go next to the spring musical.
So we talked a lot about sports. We're not all sports people, right? So,
are you a sports person?
I am a sports person.
Okay.
In my, back in a few thousand years ago, but I also have a lot for the arts. So we are hosting and producing Willy Wonka this year, which is going to be fantastic and fun. But what's great about this is it's probably about 70 kids who participate in the musical. Auditions are actually going on right now. But even if they're not the ones that want to be in front of the audience, in front of the camera, and heard, there's stage crew opportunities for them, which is fantastic because it does engage our arts. We also actually have our Let's Glow makeup club actually does the stage makeup for the program as well. So we actually start tying some other kids together. The one thing I'm really interested in seeing, which will be new for me obviously this year, is seeing those high school kids that are going to come back. So the kids that are probably just currently finishing Noises off at the high school are now going to be coming back and helping with production. So they support Miss Andrews in that, overseeing the other aspects where you can't be everywhere at once. But these kids high school students have great experience. So it's also giving our upcoming soon-to-be high school students' connections within the high school themselves.
Is Miss Andrews still directing?
Miss Andrews is still running that show. She moved
Wow.
up to VP, and she's still
Oh, I love it.
putting it together for us.
That's
So
a passion project.
That
for her.
is definitely a passion project. for
Wonderful.
her.
I'm glad to see her still involved with it or leading it.
Absolutely.
All right, so that's all of our updates that we have for Lakeside Middle School. I mean, it's been a pleasure
lot.
to have Dr. Niemi on here. So you're going to be here a whole lot of times. So we're going to keep inviting you
Okay.
back to hear about updates and all the great things happening at Lakeside.
There'll be a lot to share.
And I just wish you the best as you start your tenure here in Millville.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to all the
Wonderful.
adventures.
So we're going to come back with Mr. Jordan Rivera, and we're going to hear all the great things happening with him and all of his programs. Stay tuned.
Family owned, service oriented. Since 1960, Allen Associates has been a leader in insurance and financial services. We provide insurance services to roughly 300 groups, ranging from 2 to several thousand lives in the private and public sectors. With more than 60 years of experience and a staff of highly trained and dedicated professionals, Allen Associates is noted for its ability to build strong, long-term relationships with our clients and the communities we serve.
Allen Associates is the place to see. One-stop service, the best that can be. Whether finance, insurance, health, or medical, Allen Associates will make life so practical.
Call Allen Associates today at 856-692-2250. Allen Associates, your complete health and financial services in Vineland, New Jersey.
Hello, my name is Craig Atkinson, and I am president of the Millville Thunderbolt Club. The mission of the Thunderbolt Club is to enhance the athletic experience of Millville High School student athletes. We provide a myriad of services for these athletes, including end-of-year recognition banquets for all teams, stipends for teams and individual athletes, college scholarships of $35,000 per year, meals for special events, as well as hosting the Mike Trout Millville Thunderbolt Club Golf Tournament and the Millville Sports Hall of Fame. Please visit our website at millvillethunderboltclub.com for additional information.
Welcome back to Inside the District. My name is Matt Mazzoni, Superintendent of Schools. So our first segment, you learned a lot about Lakeside behind their leader, Miss Lisa Niemi, Dr. Niemi, and she did a great job telling us about all the new programs and happenings at Lakeside. Now we're going to take a dive a little deeper into the classroom, and we have a featured teacher today, and that is Mr. Jordan Rivera. So welcome to the show, Mr. Rivera.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, always. So I'm excited to have you on this show. I've learned a lot about you, or just a little bits, and very impressed.
Sure. Thank you.
So now I get the chance to do a little interview with you. So we'll have some fun with it.
Awesome.
So I think first, talk a little bit about your upbringing.
Sure.
I know you were born and raised in Millville.
Yep, born and raised in Millville.
Yeah, so take me through that, you going through elementary school and then what colleges you went to.
Sure. So like you mentioned, born and raised in Millville. Didn't spend my whole life here. There was a few years. I moved to South Carolina for a couple years, moved to Florida for a couple years, but I came back. Most of my schooling was here in Millville. I attended Silver Run Elementary School.
So you were a Shark?
I was a Shark. Okay. I was actually a Shark and a Wood School Lion.
All right.
So I went to Silver Run for 3rd, 4th, and then went to Wood School for 5th, back to Silver Run for 6th, and then I was the first 7th grade class at Lakeside, actually. So I was actually the first graduating class to graduate from Lakeside as a 7th grader. From Lakeside, I went on to Memorial and did 8th and 9th at Memorial.
Right.
And then I went on to the senior high.
Let me ask you, when you were at the high school, did you play any sports?
So, funny story, I was a baseball player. I didn't last very long. I didn't have the things that I try to teach now. I didn't have the resilience. I didn't have the ability to accept failure. I was one of those players. I thought I was better than I was. I was very uncoachable. So it made athletics for me a little difficult. And I think that's kind of what helps me be the coach I am today.
And I just want to add to that, and that's what I've learned about you over the past few years is, so when I hear Mr. Rivera, I've seen you coach the basketball team. I mean, the discipline that you bring upon the students, but the love that you have and the respect. So I just love that about you. I love having you at the middle school. I want you coaching everything.
Yeah, thank you.
So I see that, and you just ooze that.
Thank you.
So you had that. So you had a little chip on your shoulder in high school.
100%.
Right.
100%.
And then, so take me through then when you graduated high school, did you go on to college at that
No.
point?
So I kind of took the back roads, if you would. I got done high school, and to be fully transparent, because that's just who I am, I'd made some of the wrong choices and found myself on some of the wrong paths, and I needed a change. I was a truck driver, so I found myself needing a job, right? It becomes a difference when you're able to pick a career or accept a job, and I had to accept a job, and it was a truck driver, and I had my daughter, so I needed to do something. So I began driving a truck at 22, and I did that until I was 26. Baseball has always been a part of my life, so I was playing baseball in an adult league during those times, so it was kind of keeping me active in the game. And then when I got with my now wife, I had a stepson who was 8. He was 8 at the time, and I threw a baseball with him, and that's what got me into coaching. He threw the ball one time, and I'm like, whoa, you got to play baseball. So I began coaching him, but coaching him is what made me really find the love for coaching.
And probably the love and passion of teaching kids.
100%. Right. And it wasn't until I was able to work with him that I was able to feel that gratification in teaching or coaching, and then seeing the outcome, you know, and that's really what did it for me. And from there, it was, I didn't jump right into college. Ironically enough, I continued coaching in the Little League here in Millville, and it was about when my now 8-year-old son was born. And he was about 4 months old, and I had come home absolutely drained one day. And I realized at the moment that I didn't have enough of me left to be the father that he needed. And that was because of 14-hour days driving a truck, long days. And true story, I abruptly quit my job that day. Like, not many people would do that, but I legitimately abruptly quit my job. I needed to do something, so I was umpiring baseball to make some money here and there, and then I started delivering newspapers overnight. And I was delivering newspapers for the Daily Journal, 12:30, 1:30 in the morning. Wouldn't get done until about 4:30, 5:30, 6 in the morning. And I'll never forget the morning. I got tired of delivering the newspaper. I went home, and I was sitting in my basement, ironically, reading the newspaper that I just delivered to 250 people. And this is the story I tell everybody, and this is the truth. I felt something smack me in the back of the head, and I heard the words, "What are you doing? You're getting the same results because you are doing the same things." True story. That very moment gives me chills. I put down the newspaper, and I walked upstairs, and I woke my wife up, and I said, "I just want to let you know I'm going back to college." She said, "I support whatever it is you want to do." And I literally enrolled back in college that day. And I stayed home, I raised my son, and I did college.
That's a magnificent story. So then take us through, you sign up for college. You
Sure.
go on the internet, and you're like, where am I going?
So I had attempted, let's backtrack a little bit. I attempted when I was 17 to go to college. I just wasn't ready mentally.
Yeah.
So I was aware of the process. So when I was ready, I went and applied with RCSJ. I got accepted into their program, and I began my journey. I got my associates in psychology. After my associates in psychology, I transferred out to William Carey University, which is in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, for health and physical education. Once I was about halfway done that, I began long-term subbing at the high school, which was great. And then I realized this is really what I wanted to do. So I finished up my bachelor's, and then since finishing up my bachelor's, I realized I want to make a different impact. I want to have a different hand in the mix. And I since have decided to continue my journey at Stockton University for my master's in education.
So you're receiving a master's in education.
Yep.
When are you going to finish that?
We got about another year and a half left.
Great.
Yeah.
I think you need to go into school leadership. Can that be the next one?
Sure.
I think that's your future.
Sure.
And I always say with school leadership, it's coaching every day, right? But it's game day every day as well. So magnificent story. I'm glad that we were able to put this on TV.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Me too.
So thank you for sharing that.
It's nice being able to get it out, because I feel there are many people in my position And not many of us really get to tell the story, right? Not many of us get the opportunity to make a change and grow. And thankfully enough, with the support of my family and the support of my wife and my kids, it was able to be done. It wasn't an easy journey. We all had to make sacrifices, but I think it's well worth it.
Beautiful. And that's a perfect lead into the program, Boys with a Purpose. Where was that idea born from?
So when I was in school here in Millville, Mr. Brian Sloan ran what we called at the time the Gentlemen's Club. And don't know why, but I was never in the club. I don't know why, right? I had friends that were in the club. I had friends that participated, but it was always something that I wanted to do. Growing up, I had father figures, but I never really had a father. Right. So I didn't have that learning at home. I didn't have that teaching at home. So I think that was part of the reason why I wanted to be in that club when I was a student. And then finding myself here at Lakeside, this is my third year at Lakeside, and last year towards the end of the year, I noticed, one, being from this neighborhood and this community, I was able to notice a glaring need in a lot of our male students. Right. And like Dr. Niemi said, it's not because parents aren't trying, but it's because sometimes parents are busy. They're running, they're run thin. They're working jobs, and not always do parents have the opportunities to really give our students what's necessary besides the minimums to survive and to live. Yeah. And I think sometimes as educators, we have the opportunity to help students thrive, and that's what we should do. So I was like, you know what? We got to bring this club back.
I love it. So this idea came from Mr. Sloan at the high school.
Yes.
But you weren't a part of it.
I was not a part of it. I was on the outside looking in.
I love that, right? Because people are watching us every step of the way. So that's character, right? So kudos to Mr. Sloan. Yes, so
sir.
He impacted you,
100%.
and you weren't part of the club.
At all.
And now look what it's grown into.
Yes,
Wonderful.
Sir. And then, I don't know. I know that the club dismembered for a little while. They didn't have it for a while. And then I know Mr. Drew, who's the principal at Mount Pleasant, he had run a version of it as well at Lakeside. I can't remember the years, but a few years back. And then it stopped. And I'm like, you know what? Our students need this. And I presented it, and they're like, you know what? This is great. And then we've run with it since. Right. And it's been a great experience.
So does the club meet weekly?
Yes, we meet every Tuesday. Every Tuesday after school from 3:15 to about 4:15.
All right. And what are some of those things that you're doing? What kind of activities with the kids?
Just for example, week one, we learned about each other, right? So we learned each other, and we learned how we're all in this together, how we all have a common goal as boys, right? And then when we grow into men, it's to be, leaders and to be successful and to contribute to society. And week one, we touched on stuff like that. Week two was our first service act where we went around the school grounds and we picked up some trash around the school. We attempted at cleaning a wall in the school, but the magic erasers just made the wall look even crazy.
You need some paint.
We needed paint.
Exactly. I'll get you paint.
Exactly. Yeah. We need some paint. Yeah. So
even last a couple days ago with the program Beyond the Bell, so we're teaming up with the Southern Regional Food Distribution Center, and we're giving over approximately 200 families a turkey dinner with all the fixing and so forth. So, I was driving the truck. I dropped it off over at Lakeside, and you had your students there. Yeah. That were unloading. So they had their shirts and ties on, and they were picking up 60-pound boxes of turkey.
They sure were, and willing. When I told them that they were going to have the opportunity to help, they were excited. Something I've noticed with these kids, and sometimes it's odd because you don't see it with 6th, 7th, and 8th graders a lot, but these kids, yesterday coming into school with their shirts and ties on, and they felt proud, and you can tell they felt proud. Yeah. And then being asked to help with the food drive and stuff, when I opened up the door to the DMC and all the boys were in there from us coming down wheeling the carts with the food, and all the boys were in there, it wasn't even I need you to do this. As soon as the carts come in, the boys started grabbing things. They started throwing it. It's like they took the initiative. They were excited to help. And I think it shows that when we give these students an opportunity to be a part of something bigger than themselves, that they're willing.
Awesome. So Mr. Rivera, beautiful work that you're doing with the program,
Thank you.
Boys with a Purpose. I know you have a great future with it, and I know you got a long future here.
Thank you.
So take me through, before we close up, what are you teaching right now? What are you teaching, your assignments?
So, like, as far as
what are you teaching?
So we do sports marketing. We do a little bit of marketing, and we do a little bit of how sports integrates into society, right? When we think sports, a lot of people just think what's on the surface, right? We think the game, we think, the stats, the fans, the awards, the go to the games, have fun, do the whole tailgate thing, right? But there's a lot more, and sports is very integrated into society, right? And there's a lot to learn from sports that is exactly a direct reflection of our society. Here lately, I just finished up our baseball unit where I taught the kids the history of baseball. And something that was pretty cool is being the president of the Little League here in Millville, I went to the Historical Society a few weeks ago to gain some information of what baseball's been in Millville. And I was able to obtain some very old photos, I mean, as far back as like 1898, of Millville high school baseball teams, just baseball in general in the city. And I was able to tie that into the lesson so that the students were able to hear about the history of Major League Baseball, but then I was able to tie in the history of baseball right here in our community. They were able to see pictures of the old high school team, the old fields. I was able to show them how we had a professional team back in the day that many people didn't know about. So there's a lot of history here in Millville, but a lot with sports. And to be able to teach about sports history in general and then just tie in all the history of our town, it just brings it all full circle.
Wonderful. And the last thing I want to end with, I know you shared some information before we started this interview, and one is that you spoke about your son Braxton. So Braxton is 8 years old, third grader at Mount Pleasant. So he's a Panther. You were a Shark. He's a Panther now.
Yeah, it's okay.
But I love the idea that you started a podcast with Braxton.
Yeah.
And, getting ready for this interview, I did watch it. And Braxton was magnificent, big voice, as just like his father, very strong. And you had on Coach Joe Smith, so from Mainland Regional, from a winning way, so he's got that winning mentality, what he's doing over there. And I know Joe, I used to coach with him in Delsea when I was over there. Yep. So good guy right there. And I just want to give you kudos for what you're doing with Braxton. And you made a comment in there, like your saying was, it's about progress, not perfection.
Yeah.
And hopefully everyone heard that when Jordan speaks. It's about, you heard his story, that was phenomenal story that I'm sure is going to be shared a whole lot. But it's not about where you are at that moment. It's about getting better every single day. Right, and then and you're modeling that just for your son Braxton, your other children, and also every single student at Lakeside. So we appreciate that.
Thank you. It's funny you bring that saying up. That's actually on the back of all of our Lakeside basketball gear. That's our saying: progress over perfection.
Progress over perfection. Can I borrow it?
Sure.
All right, I'm going to take that.
Yes, sir.
So, Mr. Rivera, thank you for joining us. It was a pleasure.
Thank you very much. Always.
Yeah. So we're going to come back and we have a special segment, and we have Unsung Heroes for those staff members at Lakeside, and also we're going to highlight 2 Lakeside students. So come on back.
Family owned, service oriented. Since 1960, Allen Associates has been a leader in insurance and financial services. We provide insurance services to roughly 300 groups, ranging from 2 to several thousand lives in the private and public sectors. With more than 60 years of experience and a staff of highly trained and dedicated professionals, Allen Associates is noted for its ability to build strong, long-term relationships with our clients and the communities we serve.
Allen Associates is the place to see. One-stop service, the best that can be. Whether finance, insurance, health, or medical, Allen Associates will make life so practical.
Call Allen Associates today at 856-692-2250. Allen Associates, your complete health and financial services in Vineland, New Jersey.
Hello, my name is Craig Atkinson, and I am president of the Millville Thunderbolt Club. The mission of the Thunderbolt Club is to enhance the athletic experience of Millville High School student athletes. We provide a myriad of services for these athletes, including end-of-year recognition banquets for all teams, stipends for teams and individual athletes, college scholarships of $35,000 per year, meals for special events, as well as hosting the Mike Trout Millville Thunderbolt Club Golf Tournament and the Millville Sports Hall of Fame. Please visit our website at millvillethunderboltclub.com for additional information.
All right, so welcome back to Inside the District. Again, I'm Matt Mazzoni, Superintendent of Schools here in Millville. Now we're moving on to our Unsung Heroes segment. And this is something new that we put in place because, you know, from last year, we always recognize our teachers that are impacting students every day. But in a school, there's so many more people that are impacting students. And we have two special people joining us today. And they are our nurses here at Lakeside. So congratulations, first and foremost, being named Unsung Hero.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So we have Nurse Nina Ciancarelli and Nurse Lori Russo joining us. So let's start with Nurse Lori. Tell us about how many years you've been here at Lakeside and maybe what you were doing before.
I've been at Lakeside. This is my second year. I have a long history of school nursing. I worked for a special ed program in Vineland for 22 years before coming to Millville.
Wonderful. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
And Nurse Nina?
Okay. I've been here at Lakeside in Millville for the past 5 years. Before that, I was in Texas for 15 years. I am a Vineland girl, though.
Vineland through and through.
Vineland through and through, both of us.
I always
Now
say,
I have to say I'm a Millville girl because I've been here for 5 years every day.
all right, I'm going to say I'm a Millville guy because I'm 4 years, but I spend a lot of time here. I spend more time here than I do at home. But I'm born and raised in Buna, so close enough.
Okay.
I don't like to say Vineland on the show because you know how that goes.
Okay.
I got
You know,
That's why it's that's why I
Buna's
said-
kind of like, yeah. So let's just talk a little bit about, they always say beyond the Band-Aid, because sometimes when people think of school nurses, it's like, oh, they're giving Band-Aids and ice packs. But it's so much more than that. So talk about maybe how you're impacting students every day. Maybe share a story. We don't want to say a kid's name or anything, but you are so tied into some of the things that are happening every day in a school. So what's the day in the life of a nurse?
Well, first of all, it is true. It's not just Band-Aids. We have a lot of students that have chronic health conditions.
Yeah.
They really come every day to see us. There's children that come and they need meds every day. So you do form a bond with those kids, and in return, those kids form a bond with you. Some of the kids I've been seeing them for 3 years.
Yeah.
So
They come in looking specifically. They notice when one of us isn't there. They know when they come in the office what to expect. They know the routine. And again, the chronic conditions, some of them really come looking for the follow through from home and getting the care they need.
right. And sometimes they just really do. They're used to want to see a smiling face every day. Maybe there's really nothing wrong, or they want that Band-Aid because they just want that extra TLC.
Just not just medical or physical ailments. It's that mental health piece. We know students are suffering from anxiety, depression, or they're just facing a lot of concerns in society. It could be even family. So they turn to the nurse where something they may say, a stomach ache or headache, and then all of a sudden you're providing a mental health resource to them. So what are some of those resources you're providing to students in that mental aspect?
We work very closely with the counselors here at Millville, reaching right out to them, working collaboratively to get the kids what they need. Always reaching out to the parents, sometimes the doctor's offices, or even providing them services or information that they may not have known existed, like health insurance or places to go when they've hit a dead end and they don't know where else to turn to.
Right.
Nina and I sometimes will have that secret that gets them through what they're looking for.
Right. And do you work with local agencies as well?
Yes, we do work with the local agencies,
Yeah.
but we always really try to first go through either the counselors or the social workers.
Right. So, and we have a lot of them. So that's great
Yes,
that you're
we
a
do.
big part of that team. And now schools, there's a lot of emergencies in schools, or we need to be in preparation for that. So what part do you play in that emergency? And I know, Nina, when you walked in, you talked about, is this a MERT drill? So like maybe if you want to explain what a MERT drill, MERT is and
So
your
it's
role in
a
that.
medical emergency, and what we do is we actually have a team here, and there is actually a team in every school in Millville.
Right.
And we do at least 2 drills a year, and what we do is we'll have a dummy lay on the floor, and the people involved in the team, they'll come, we'll start CPR, we'll make sure everybody's doing everything properly. We'll call the ambulance, and we use it as a shelter in place so that other kids have to stay in their classroom.
Right. And so we have to always practice that.
Right, you have to
Practice
practice,
a
you
lot,
never
I
know. And we sometimes think of a medical emergency only as like CPR, that somebody's having a heart attack. But it could be maybe somebody falls and they break their leg and they can't get up, or
Bleeding.
bleeding.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of medical emergencies other than your heart.
And I appreciate all this. Let's go back a little bit and talk about what made you choose the field of nursing when you were going through high school, or was this something that came later?
Well, you have to remember, I'm not like, I've been around a long
Good way of putting it.
I've been around a long, long time. And when I was actually, years and years ago, when I was in high school, my father, God rest his soul, said to me, Nina, so you're going to graduate pretty soon. What are you going to be? And way back then, it was either, as a female, you were either a teacher
Right.
or a nurse. So I said, okay, Daddy, I'll go to school and be a nurse.
And that's as simple as that.
And that's really what it was.
Yeah.
Well, I got to be honest, Nina and I have never talked about this, but my dad was the same driving force. When I graduated high school, he said to me, you're not done, you have to do something with yourself. What are you going to do? And I looked at the local college, at their offerings, and nursing was it. And I said, I'll be a nurse. And that was how I ended up going and being a nurse. And then school nursing was because it worked for my family.
Right.
I'm a mom first, and that really worked for my family, the hours and the
Beautiful.
availability with the schools.
And I think that's really the bottom line. That's what we wanted to do. We're nurturers. We wanted to take care of people.
And as you're saying, I'm just thinking back on my own life. My father, who was a flower farmer, and he said, you could do a lot of things, but you will not work on this farm, right? Because it was such a hard work. Like he didn't want us, on the hottest days and so forth.
To be out there.
So I have a sister that's a social worker, a brother that's a police officer.
Right.
So all serving in the community. So it's good. All right. And just to piggyback off of what you shared, the story of maybe how your father said pick nursing or to become a teacher. We just had Zoe Wright on the show, 8th grader, and she wants to be a doctor.
Okay.
Right? So I love it. In 2025, she wants to be a doctor to help. So make sure you make that connection with
Okay,
her.
I will.
So thank you to Nurse Nina and Nurse Lori for
Thank you.
all that
Thank
you're
you.
doing.
Thank you for having us. Yes.
Yeah,
Thank
being
you.
a part of this show. All right, we will come back with some more highlights.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
All right, so welcome back to Inside the District. Once again, I'm Matt Mazzoni, Superintendent of Schools, and we are at Lakeside. And one of the segments that are new to our show is highlighting our students. So that's why we're here, right? So that's the point of working in school. So we have 2 great students joining us. First, we have Carter Robinson. He is an 8th grader here at Lakeside. So welcome, Carter.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, I know you're excited to be on the show. Let's talk about beyond the classroom. So what are some of those things, what are your most favorite things about Lakeside Middle School that you like to share?
Some of my personal favorite things about Lakeside are the academics. I love my classes, math, language arts, history, science.
So you love the classes?
Yeah, I love the teachers. They're very kind, respectful. They're always willing to help you. and they're always there for you when you need them.
Wow, so you're excited to be in school.
Yes.
Kind of like myself. I loved going to school. That's probably why I ended up working in schools. Let's talk about maybe a hobby that you have, a passion or hobby that could be something that is within school, a club activity, sport, or maybe something that you're doing outside of school.
So a hobby I have that I love to play is baseball. I've grown up into it. I've been playing since I was pretty young age. I really love the sport, so I just kept playing. I'm always practicing. I'm always talking about it. So
what
I just
position?
feel like first base and pitcher and outfield.
Come on, me and you might be twins. All right. And then, I imagine you love Mike Trout, Buddy
Yes, sir.
Kennedy,
Yep.
right? Putting Millville on the map.
Yeah.
All right, and you're going to be the next one?
Yep.
But you told me
Hopefully.
what your future plans are. We'll get to that shortly. Real fast, give me one. What's your favorite subject in school?
My favorite subject is math because I would want to be an engineer in high school, so I feel you need to like math, and math is for me, so I like to calculate things. I just like
Carter,
to do
that's
geometry too. So
Carter, that is wonderful.
Yeah.
And let's talk about future plans. So I know, how old are you?
13 years.
13, so I'm already,
Yes.
they're like, why is Dr. Mazzoni talk about my future plans? But what are some of those things in the near future? What are your plans when you leave Lakeside Middle School?
Probably to go to a good high school nearby, get good grades, play sports, and just do as well as I can.
Do you have a college that you want to attend?
Personally, me, I would like to go to LSU.
LSU?
Yeah.
All right.
Because they're known for big sports like baseball and football. So that's somewhere I've always looked to go
So
to.
you know they have a great baseball program.
Yes.
Football, maybe not so much, right? They just fired their coach, I believe.
Yeah.
Last, one of the biggest pieces of being at school is the relationships you build with teachers.
Yes.
Right? They're inspiring every single day. So do you want to give a shout out to one of your teachers?
Personally, me, I would like to give a shout out to Miss Haynes. She's always helpful. She's kind. She's always helping me with my work. She always will give you a laugh when you need it most. And I'd like to thank her for that.
Awesome, Carter. Well, you heard it first, or for our first student highlight, and that is Carter Robinson. And we're going to come back with another student. Thank you. So welcome back to Inside the District, where we're highlighting Lakeside Middle School, and we have another awesome student joining us today, and that is Zoe Wright. So welcome, Zoe.
Hi, thank you.
Yeah, so Zoe, I just had Carter, and he shared a lot of different things. I'm going to ask you a lot of similar questions with that. So Zoe, I know right now you are starring on the morning show right here at Lakeside. Mm-hmm. Which, are you the anchor?
Yeah.
All right, so you like to talk a little bit?
Yeah, a little bit.
So take me through, what are some of the things that you love about Lakeside Middle School?
I like that there's a lot of activities and the students here are really nice, and you get put in the classes with people that have similar interests with you.
Okay, and what are some of those classes that you love?
I like doing band and choir, and I like ELA and science and just all my classes.
Oh, you do too, just like Carter. He loves all the classes. Are you in any after-school activities or sports?
I want to do the school musical like I do.
Yeah, I love it. And even, do you have any other passion or hobbies that may be at school or anything out of school?
I like crocheting stuff, and I like doing dance. Yeah. I do ballet, tap jazz, and hip hop.
All right, so our high school also has a dance program, so maybe that could be something that you get in part of. And you talked about how much you love in ELA. What are some of your electives that you have now?
I have GT, I have
Gifted and talented?
band, and I have choir.
Okay, good. All right. And now, thinking about your future, I know you're only in 8th grade. So what does that future look like in the near future, or maybe what you want to do past high school?
Well, past high school, I would like to look into medicine. I would like to find cures for different things. and I just really want to look to help different people. I just want to help people.
Beautiful. And you said that you want to be a doctor, Zoe.
Yeah, I want to do pediatrics.
Right. So I have 4 little girls, and I have a doctorate in education, so I like to play around with my daughters, and if they have any injury or whatnot, I'll say, well, I'm a doctor. And they're like, Daddy, you're not that kind of doctor. But you want to be a doctor that's going to be working in the medical field.
Yeah.
So wonderful. I wish you the best with that.
Thank you.
And, now at this time, you can give a shout out to one of your teachers or staff members that has made a positive impact on your life.
I would like my band teacher, Miss Biaselli. She really taught us a lot of things in band, and she made me really step out of my comfort zone with not always being perfect with what I do.
I love that. So Miss Biaselli, we had her and we interviewed her last year on the show. So very impressive. So it's great. Shout out for her. So Zoe, thank you for being here, and that wraps up our student highlight. So come back as we close up the show. Thank you.
Family owned, service oriented. Since 1960, Allen Associates has been a leader in insurance and financial services. We provide insurance services to roughly 300 groups, ranging from 2 to several thousand lives in the private and public sectors. With more than 60 years of experience and a staff of highly trained and dedicated professionals, Allen Associates is noted for its ability to build strong, long-term relationships with our clients and the communities we serve.
Allen Associates is the place to see. One-stop service, the best that can be. Whether finance, insurance, health, or medical, Allen Associates will make life so practical.
Call Allen Associates today at 856-692-2250. Allen Associates, your complete health and financial services in Vineland, New Jersey.
Hello, my name is Craig Atkinson, and I am president of the Millville Thunderbolt Club. The mission of the Thunderbolt Club is to enhance the athletic experience of Millville High School student athletes. We provide a myriad of services for these athletes, including end-of-year recognition banquets for all teams, stipends for teams and individual athletes, college scholarships of $35,000 per year, meals for special events, as well as hosting the Mike Trout Millville Thunderbolt Club Golf Tournament and the Millville Sports Hall of Fame. Please visit our website at millvillethunderboltclub.com for additional information.
Welcome back to Inside the District. Once again, I'm Matt Mazzoni, Superintendent of Schools here in Millville. Hopefully you enjoyed our segments all about Lakeside, and you got to meet our nurse Nina and nurse Lori, and our also 2 students, Carter and Zoe. They did a great job in the interviews and learned a little bit about them. Now we're going to move on to our district updates, and we have plenty to go about. First and foremost, we're going to talk about a calendar update. So we made some changes to the calendar that was board approved on Monday the 17th. So first and foremost, we're getting ready to get Holly Heights Hawks. You are heading back to Holly Heights. So we are ready. So they're finishing up the construction. We're cleaning the rooms as we speak, and we're going to have students back in there in no time. So what does that look like? In order for us to do that, we have to have early dismissal days for Holly Heights elementary students only. So this is just for Holly Heights, and that's going to be Monday, December 15th through the 19th. So that for the entire week. And then we're also going to have that Monday the 22nd is an early dismissal day. And then for the entire district, everyone's going to have early dismissal day for all schools as we prepare for the Christmas and winter break. So we need those 6 days to get Holly Heights back to Holly Heights. So I just want to say, I appreciate everyone's support and anticipated cooperation as we get to those dates because it does take a village to move an entire school back. So that winter break, what does it look like? It's pretty long. So December 24th all the way through January 2nd. But we did make one little change in the schedule. So January 5th, that was a regular school day. That was going to be Monday, January 5th, where we come back. No longer is that. So it's going to be a professional development day. So staff will report. However, students will have off that day. So we'll see everyone back on January 6th, Tuesday, January 6th. And as you can see, the last piece is Positive Change Academy, our alternative school. Will have early dismissal days on January 6th and 7th because now they're moving from the high school back to Memorial. So a lot of moving parts, and just want to thank our custodial staff, our facilities, and of course our teachers, the whole Holly Heights staff with this move as we do this. So thank you to everyone as we get rolling on that. Next, let's talk about our security at school concerts. So this is for Lakeside concerts and also all the elementary concerts held at Lakeside and also the high school. Just want to remind people so when they come in, they're aware of our procedure. So all visitors must pass through metal detectors or be wanded, one or the other. Also, no bags are permitted with the exception of clear bags. Also, no outside food or drinks are prohibited. And the last one, I can't believe I have to state it, no drugs, no alcohol, no tobacco, and of course, no weapons, right? This is a safe environment for our students to perform, and hopefully everyone's going to see some phenomenal concerts by our students. Now we're going to move on to Beyond the Bell. So this is that new program. I referenced it a little earlier. So this is our agreement with the Southern Regional Food Distribution Center for the Beyond the Bell program. So what is this? It's a food program designed to help feed children and their families beyond school hours. And this week was a special one as we were able to provide frozen turkeys and an abundant assortment of sides to approximately 200 families. I just want to give a shout out, a special thank you to Miss Meg Finney and our school staff directly involved with the Beyond the Bell program. Also want to state with that that this directly aligns to our vision and mission in Millville. So a tenet of our strategic plan is for students and families to want to call on Millville with a sense of pride, acceptance, and belonging. And there's no better representation of this than through our volunteerism and community involvement. So thank you for all that everyone does. And now to our next slide. That's right. It's the Thanksgiving Classic. I believe it's the 154th meeting. So we're going to play our neighbors, and they better be ready because we're playing some great football. We had a tough loss in the finals, but that's the 5th straight year we made to the finals. So Vineland better be prepared. So that's going to happen on Turkey Day. That's on Thursday the 27th. Gates open at 9 a.m., and it's a 10:30 a.m. start. And it's going to be a special event. So make sure you buy your tickets online. And we're going to be honoring first the 1975 championship team. So that's 50 years since the championship. People say it's one of the greatest teams in Millville history. I'm sure there's some other teams that are going to question that, but we got a lot of great teams here, so we'll celebrate all of them. And also, we're going to celebrate Coach Tony Sorace. So that's going to happen before the game and also during halftime. So what I'm going to say is don't miss any of it. So again, that's all of our updates that we have for our show. Hopefully you enjoyed it. You learned a lot about Lakeside, all the great happenings there, and also from our district updates. So I wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving, and we'll get ready. We're going to be coming into December. We're going to fly into it and be ready for our next show as we get into the elementary schools. Thank you. And as always, go Bolts.
The preceding program was produced by the Millville Public School System in conjunction with Quinn Broadcasting and is available on Facebook, YouTube, and Channel 22.